Sleep, 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 sleep. This month we are doing Stress and Mental Health Awareness Month, and this is one of the topics that comes up all the time when we talk about mental health and stress. And sleep is so, so important. I love sleep. I personally don't have much challenges with sleep because I love sleep. Um, but I don't have problems falling asleep, but sometimes do have problems staying asleep sometimes. And just over the course of the years that I've been working as a health coach with people, we've come up with different suggestions that work well for many people. So I wanted to share some of those today with you. If you have any questions about sleep and specifically, feel free to go ahead and write them in the chat. But what I would love for everyone on the call to share with me now is how is your sleep? How has your sleep been? Any challenges that you've been having? Yeah, please share. Would love to hear. We are coming out of this pandemic, and I know that during the pandemic, especially in the beginning, 2020, a lot of people told me that their sleep was disturbed. So, was that an experience that you had? Yes or no? Yeah, and now, yay, things are getting back to some level of normalcy for us here in Trinidad. Things are open. I went to Grand Bazaar yesterday and went to the food court and they removed the hand washing sink. I'm like, but I kind of liked washing my hands before entering the food court. So I was a little confused that, all of a sudden we no longer need to wash our hands before entering public places like a food court. Um, but yeah, these are the times we're living in, interesting times. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into our topic for today. Sleep. Have you ever thought about how your eating habits can affect your sleep? There is a definite relationship between how we eat and how we sleep. Of course, there are other factors that would affect your sleep. Of course, your exercise plays a big role. The more exercise actually usually leads to better sleep for most people. Of course, stress levels and what's going on in, in your mind, how stressed you feel, can also affect your sleep. Today, we're going to focus on the first point of your eating. We're going to highlight a couple or address the topic from three different points. The first would be general eating patterns that can affect your sleep and how to improve those for better sleep. The second point would be foods that are generally calming, foods that you can use to improve your sleep quality. And the third would be just to highlight a couple natural supplements or sleep aids that can be helpful before you go to the stronger pharmaceutical sleep aids or in addition to the pharmaceutical sleep aids if they are not working that well for you. Okay, so to jump right in, we have overall diet considerations that are known to affect sleep. Number one, the total amount of food that you are eating. What we notice is that people who are doing very low calorie diets, either intentionally or unintentionally, i.e., the starvation diet, or they're just skipping meals and not eating enough, that low intake, not eating enough, can affect your sleep. It may show up as you may fall asleep, but then you can't sleep longer than 4 hours, or you keep getting up at 2 a.m. every night. That could be related to just you're not eating enough during the day. I like to say your body is like a little biocomputer and it knows what it needs. It knows its basic needs, it knows how much calories it needs to run its basic metabolism, i.e., the basic functions of the body require calories. So that would be your BMR or basal metabolic rate, how much calories your body needs to function. And if it's regularly not getting that, i.e., you are under eating or restricting your eating, as I said, intentionally or unintentionally by skipping meals, your body knows. Your body knows that it's not getting enough. And in an ideal situation, your body would know how to burn some fat as energy to run off of, but there are reasons why that may not be happening also. So your body is just left without enough calories and therefore cannot sleep a full night or full 8 hours. Think about it. If you have had or have interacted with a baby, I learned this through having a baby and toddler. I realized that even with them, so from birth, the reason a baby wakes up at night in the middle of the night is because they're hungry, right? They're on a feeding schedule. They literally can only eat enough to last them 2 to 3 hours. So they're on that schedule. As they get older and their stomach gets bigger, if they are given enough food throughout the day and at night time when their bellies are nice and full, guess what? They're more likely to sleep through the night. So taking that concept and extending it into adults, there is still some relevance to that. So point number one is to look at the total amount of food that you're eating and how well you are meeting your body's needs, calorie needs as well as nutritional needs. Yes? So does that make sense? Does that ring a bell for anyone? Let me know. Would love to hear in the comments. Yes, mommy's talking. Yes, you see why I was outside? Okay. All right, point number two to think about is blood sugar regulation. So if your blood sugar is not properly regulated throughout the day and therefore also throughout the night, it will affect your sleep. Now, when people think about blood sugar, they think about diabetics. Oh, well, I'm not diabetic, so I don't have to think about that. But we all have to think about how well our blood sugar is regulated because it can affect everything and including your sleep. So, and there can be the extremes of your blood sugar is doing a roller coaster ride all day. So from, peak spiking up really high and then dropping too low. So you're on this roller coaster and that would affect how you're able to sleep during the night because you've been roller coastering all day. Or it might just be if your blood sugar is not able to regulate itself without the input of carbs. What do I mean by that? So, there's a normal healthy range for blood sugar. You kind of want to stay within that range, or even if you go above, your body should be able to utilize insulin to bring the sugar back down into a normal range. But when your blood sugar regulation or your glucose metabolism is not working well, when your blood sugar dips low, you're not able to naturally bring it back up on your own. And that's when you get the little sugar cravings and you feel like you have to have something sweet or you have to have a carb to bring your sugar back up, right? So imagine if that is happening while you're sleeping. If while you're sleeping, your blood sugar dips low and your body is not good at bringing itself out of that hypoglycemic state, then it's going to wake you up because it doesn't want you to die in your sleep because your blood sugar went too low. Okay, so that's the second point about just overall dietary patterns that can affect your sleep. Number one was not eating enough calories, enough nutrition. Number two is poor blood sugar glucose metabolism, right? Where the blood sugar is spiking and then going low, and you're having hypoglycemic episodes at night, maybe while you're sleeping, which can affect your sleep. Yeah. And then you have another possible factor, which if you have it, you know it, and it's a simple thing to think about, which is if you suffer from GERD or acid reflux, right? GERD being gastroesophageal reflux. So acid reflux. We know that that can also affect your sleep. Now, this can show up in different ways. In it's not always just that burning feeling in your throat. So for some people, they don't realize that it's acid reflux because it manifests in different ways, either with coughing or nasal drip. So there are different ways that the acid reflux can show up, and it will definitely also affect um, your sleep if you tend to have foods that trigger it at night. Okay. All right. Sorry. Thank you. All right. So, how can we set ourselves up for a nice sound sleep? All right. So, we're going to go into talking about um, setting ourselves up for a sound sleep with some foods that may be calming. So before I do that, let's check out the comments. Rondi says, I can't sleep if I'm hungry. Yes, definitely. And I like to say there is like a timer or alarm in my belly, and I've heard other people say the same thing, at 12 midnight. And if I'm awake at 12 midnight, then I feel like I'm starving. Okay, I'm gonna have to hold for 1 second, please. Hold on. All right, sorry about that. And Theodora says, good morning. Good morning, Theodora. How are you? Great. And you all are still hearing me okay? Yes? I'm still getting an error message from Facebook. But hopefully you all are still hearing me okay. All right, so we're going into talking about how we can set ourselves up for better sleep with some calming foods uh, at night that may actually promote better sleep. Yeah? So, so the popular ones would be a combination of a banana or half a banana if you're trying to control your blood sugar, or if you're diabetic, half a banana would be better. That's considered one serving of fruit, and a handful of almonds. So combining the banana with the almonds, you get a good balance of a little bit of carbs, a little bit of protein, a little bit of healthy fats, right? And there's also some tryptophan, which is a neurochemical in your brain that helps to trigger sleep or promote good sleep, and an amino acid, sorry, from the almonds, and you also get a little magnesium from the almonds as well, which can help to make you drowsy. Right? Magnesium is one of my favorite things to talk about because it's called the relaxation mineral. Actually, it helps your muscles to relax, so it can be used to help promote sleep as well. So any foods high in magnesium. I also, when we get to the supplement section, we'll talk about that as well, right? And if you don't like bananas, then if cherries are in season, they are also a good fruit to have at night because they actually are a natural source of melatonin. Who knew, right? So that includes the foreign cherries, but definitely our local. If you can get your hands on any of our local cherries, they are the best. Yes. So that's combo number one would be a a serving of fruit, which is generally about half cup or half a banana, and a handful of almonds. Yeah. The other combo that tends to work well, based on some of the nutritional compounds that are known to promote sound sleep, is some whole grain crackers. So, your nice whole grain cricks, and some peanut butter. Yeah. So again, we see the nuts, using the nuts as a bit of a aid in small quantities, right? So we're talking literally like two little quick sandwiches, i.e., like four quicks with some peanut butter in it. That can be a light nighttime um, snack, or even for some people a light dinner. Yes. Um, Another common recommendation in terms of foods that promote sleep is turkey. So, half of a turkey sandwich, or putting some turkey into, I don't know, some eggs, or uh, even on a salad, if you're a salad person in the night. Ooh, a turkey soup. I love to add, if I have pre-cooked turkeys, turkey breasts, sometimes I cook it myself, but for convenience, I like to actually buy it pre-cooked in the Massey Deli section. They have, where they sell rotisserie chicken and some of the pre-made items. I actually like to buy the pre-cooked and sliced turkey breast, because to me it's more economical, and I'm the only one who eats turkey in my household. So um, sometimes I don't want to cook the whole breast just for me. So pre-cooked turkey breast. If I make a soup like a lentil soup, or like split pea soup, even a vegetable soup, I would just add some turkey into it. So let me tell you why we're talking about turkey. Um, Turkey is actually a famous source of that tryptophan that I was mentioning earlier, which is a new chemical that promotes sleep, that's found in protein sources. And turkey is one of the richest in that. So, yeah, thinking about how you can add some turkey into your dinner might be a good idea. All right, so those are three ideas that we have for you. In terms of drinks, though, that's where we get into, drinks can also be helpful. So you're on a weight loss plan. Yeah, you don't want, what is Maria talking about? Is she telling me to eat before I go to sleep? Not a problem. You had your dinner. Maybe you can incorporate some of these ideas into your dinner. But if you don't need or want a nighttime snack after dinner, then you want to think about, well, what can I drink? What can I drink after dinner or before bed that will help promote sleep? So, interestingly, before we even get to the teas, we have the basics of a warm cup of milk. A warm cup of milk, actually, just before bed can help you sleep better. That's why babies like it, right? And why research shows that, again, in the milk you will find some tryptophan, the calcium, and a little magnesium. Again, that combo is always a good combo for promoting good sleep. And if you're generally deficient in magnesium, then um, anything that boosts up your magnesium level, but even if it's not just before bed, even if it's throughout the day, so will help. There's a very popular supplement, it's a powder you mix in water, I believe, called Calms. It is a magnesium mix drink mix, and I know that that works well for many people, who to promote better sleep. Yeah, so whether it's natural sources of magnesium, like uh, from the foods, or whether it's a supplement. So, good question. Judith is asking, well, what about almond milk? Now, I I would have to say maybe. You would think that almond milk would work, because we did talk about a handful of almonds, right? And now we're talking about warm milk. So, a warm cup of almond milk should work. However, as we all know, the almond milk is very watery, right? Doesn't have much almond in the almond milk. So um, that's why I think it's a maybe. And all the almond milk is not a good source of protein. Most of the protein and fats have been taken out of it. So what might be good though It is fortified in the calcium and vitamin D. I don't think it's fortified in magnesium. So, what might be a good idea would be to take your handful of almonds. So, like 12 almonds. I like to soak them to get the skin off actually and blend that in the almond milk. So you're kind of fortifying your own almond milk with some real almonds to get the full benefit of the almonds with the almond milk. So that might work. Yeah. Or even just like the almond milk with some peanut butter, a tablespoon of peanut butter, that might also work well with your half a banana. So it could be like a light smoothie, right? You're not loading it up with oats and all of that before bed because that might lead to weight gain. But a light smoothie with the almond milk with either peanut butter or your half a banana or both. So that could be a good combo too. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Judith. All right. Then we come to our teas. Of course, we are more familiar with having a nice warm cup of tea before bed for our tea drinkers. So, what are your favorite teas that help you sleep? Do you have one that works? The most popular, of course, is chamomile. Um, I find chamomile pleasant, but I do not find that it helps me sleep any better personally. I don't know if it's a bit weak for me, um, or that I don't really have, as I said, any real problem falling asleep. But I don't feel it any different when I drink the chamomile. Some people do though, or sometimes I would do it. People benefit from combining the chamomile with something else like passion flower, valerian root. Those are some other herbal teas that can assist with sleep. And then we have some of our own local goodies, right? Which is it's amazing that sometimes foreigners know more about our local plants than we do. I actually learned from an American sleep doctor. He was talking about guava leaf, yes, and I was like, I never knew that. I used to have a guava tree in my yard. We cut it down. So apparently, guava leaf with tea. Make a tea with the dried guava leaves. Yeah, I know the audio. I tried, Cami, my best to improve it. So maybe I just talk a little louder. um, so, guava leaf tea, and of course, our pawpaw. The pawpaw? No, sorry, soursop. Soursop leaf. Soursop leaf tea. So, those are some local natural things that could be free if you have a neighbor or you have a tree in your own yard. You can dry some of the leaves or you can use it fresh. So your soursop leaf tea and your guava leaf tea. You can also get soursop leaf tea in the groceries. There's a line of Jamaican teas out of Jamaica called um, Caribbean Dreams, I think, and they do have a soursop leaf tea that I think works pretty well. So you can look for that, or you find somebody with a tree and get your own. Yeah? All right. Of course, you want to stay away from the more stimulating teas, anything with caffeine. I do hear many people say, well, caffeine doesn't bother me, so I could drink coffee and still go to sleep. Yeah, maybe, but it's still not a good look. Still not a good uh, thing to do to pump caffeine into your system just before you go to sleep, even if you don't think it keeps you awake. It may not keep you awake, but it may prevent deep sleep, which is what we want. Some nice, deep, restorative sleep. Of course, anything with ginseng or anything stimulating like that, you want to avoid. Yeah? All right. Then we come to supplements. I'm not going to spend too long talking about the supplements, right? Um, but I talked about the carbs already. You have magnesium just as a supplement that you can take on its own or in combination with calcium, which is how I prefer to take it combined with calcium. And I really wanted to share what is now the most popular. I'm going to bypass all the other ones that may be out there, right? The most popular sleep aid currently. Any ideas? Any guesses? Do is CBD oil. CBD oil, you may have heard of it, aka weed oil. Yes, it's perfectly legal now. Taken before bed, let me tell you, can work wonders. So if you are really having challenges and you really need something stronger than that cup of chamomile tea, CBD oil, expensive, but really worth it if you are struggling in this regard. If you are going to take it, you want to take it, you know, early enough because the goal is to get a good 8 hours of sleep. Some people go for the extra mile and get 10 hours when they take that. So you want to go to bed early enough so that you can get that full night's sleep if you're going to go through the trouble of taking that. Yes, so to be taken at night before bed. Do not, please do not take it on a morning. Yes, it is weed oil at the end of the day. So you may get some undesirable effects if you take it in the morning. Okay, so that's really what I wanted to come on here to share with you. Let's see. Theodora says she puts 3 bay leaves in her chamomile tea. Yes, yes, yes. That sounds yummy, actually. That sounds yummy, and the smell, I'm sure that's aroma alone is calming and soothing. So that sounds great. And yes, I find that I have to add something to the chamomile tea to make it more effective, um, to really get that sleep benefit. So thanks for sharing that, Theodora. Okay, any comments, questions before we wrap up this segment? Thank you so much for joining me. I apologize for the hiccups along the way, and I know the audio is not the greatest. We'll see how the recording comes up. Um, I don't know how to fix it. Maybe for next time, I will do my best to see how to fix it before time. Okay, so if no questions, feel free even after the chat if you try out some of these recommendations and anything works for you. I would love if you would share it in the group, the Empower Nutrition Health Adventures group. Let us know what you've tried. Let us know how it's going. If anything works really well, definitely share it. We would love to know, and other people can benefit. Yes. So, happy Saturday, and be sure to get your 7 to 8 hours of shut eye in this weekend. All right? Great. Bye for now. It's Mawea signing off. Take care.